When you're working with Builder, you're actually using masters and guides. Guides are based on masters. Let me give you a quick example here. Let's say that my first master here, I want it to be 10 pixels. And as you can see in the drop down here, it changes. Whatever I change for my master is going to change in the master drop down in the guides setup section here. So if I change it to 15, it's going to say 15. Let's change it back to 10. So let's add a couple of guides here. And if I would like to delete a guide, I simply click on the X button and yes. Or if I want to skip this dialog message, I just hold down Command on Mac and Control on Windows to quickly delete a guide. Now, let's set up something else here. Let's say 84, and I'm going to give this one text area for its label, and let's just call master A for gutter. And I'm going to go ahead and select master B, add guide. So let's say that your client says, you know what, it needs to be a little wider or a little less wide or whatever. You could easily change that. So I'm going to change it to 15 now, and you can see that master A is going to change and update here. And so are the values here. So let's pretend that you're working with a developer, you're setting up a user interface, and you need to give the developer the exact coordinates. You can do that on the fly as you update your design, and also export it to Photoshop, other softwares, and also play around with it yourself. So it's super fast, and I wish I had this when I was working on a specific project, which is really how all this started. So I'm going to change it back to 10 here. And then I'm going to add another gutter here from master A. And let's change, and let's say that, you know what, I want my field width to be 75 pixels. And I'm just going to enter a name or a label of field here. And I just want to show you one thing here. When you're working in pixels, it's the only one that does not allow points or commas. So if I try to enter 10.5, it doesn't work, or comma 5 doesn't work, because we do not allow broken or non-whole values for pixels, at least not in version 1.0. So let's continue here, and I want you to keep in mind one thing here, and you can see that the repeat button here is disabled, but in the future version we have this vision of being able to implement fields and say, you know what, I want master A and master C to repeat 3 times after each other. And so you don't have to do what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to select master C, and then I'm going to go back to master A, master C, and so on. So instead, that's going to be you're going to be able to do that with the repeat feature. So it's going to be blazing fast. And let's end it with 3 master A guides here. Now, as you can see here, we have no white area here, so nothing is going to be exported in our design until I start building in the height, because width and height in Builder are created independently of each other. So next one is I'm going to set for my title. Let's say I want to be 10 here as well, tile and gutter. And next one is going to be 40 for different group. I'm just going to name it for group. And let's say I want 20 pixels for my field height. And then I want 12 pixels for the field spacing or gutter. Field gutter. And let's go ahead and add the title. And then if I place my mouse over the guide here, I can see what it really is. It's just fetching the label of the master of AY. And if you're wondering what AY, BY, CY, and AX, BX, CX is, it's really designed to help developers in a future version. If they're developing, for example, in Xcode, and they want to be able to get the exact coordinates of different elements, you can do that. And that's really the purpose of the start and end fields here. So as we look, we have 3 masters in a row. This is guide 1 to 3. So we can see that from 0 to 10 is the first guide. from 10 to 20 is the second guide, and 20 to 30 is the third guide. So you're going to be able to pass along these values to your developer so that you can set up your project. If it's an app, this is going to be awesome. If it's something else, then you might have use of these values as well. It totally depends on the project. So the latest added guide is always going to be at the bottom. So let's switch back to height again, and let's add master B. So as you can see, it's being added at the bottom here to match what we're really seeing in the preview here. So let's wrap this up quickly. Let's add a field and field gutter, and let's add this again. And let's just end it with a group and a gutter at the end here. So basically, this is how Builder works. It's so powerful, and it's really fun to work with as a designer. And let's go back to width here, and let's say, you know what, we had to do some modifications because the field, we need to make it a little bit wider. So let's say we want it to be 78, and we need the text area to be a little wider as well because some of the labels are not fitting here. So I'm just going to change this to 89. And one thing I want to show you here is, which is really cool and makes it a little easier for you, is the desired width and desired height here. So basically, if you want to create a project where the height is, say, 200 pixels or whatever unit you have set up here, then you can go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to enter 200 here. Now, when I enter this, it doesn't really do anything except show me what the remaining height is. So if I'm below the current document width or height, it's going to be a negative value here. So let's say if I enter 163, it's going to be -1. So if I reduce the document height by 1 pixel, -1, I'm going to achieve 163. So let's export this layout, and let's do it to Photoshop. And we can see that the resolution and the unit is being carried over into the document in Photoshop. So if I go to image size, we can see there was 72 for the resolution, 72 pixels per inch, pixels, 413, and the height 164. So it's really easy and fast to set up all kinds of different projects, and that's basically it. That's how Builder works. We will be releasing other updates. This is just the very beginning, and I'm extremely excited about what's around the corner for this software, and I'm figuring out new features all the time. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.